There's been a lot of talk in the news lately about a lot of video games failing, but believe it or not, there are a lot of video games that have been a success. However, there's a select few that have been an ultra mega crazy success. We're talking those that have sold over 50 million units or copies. Only a very select few games have really truly hit the stratosphere like this. So today we're going to talk about 10 of them. Let's get started off with number 10 with The Witcher 3. I mean, the easy part is that The Witcher 3 is absolutely awesome. It's one of the biggest RPGs ever made. It's the most successful game to ever come out of Poland from Polish development studio CD Projekt Red. And just last year, in 2023, they announced that The Witcher 3 had sold over 50 million units. So yes, a lot of it is word of mouth. Over the years, people have played Witcher 3, recommended it to other people. The game continues to blow up and go viral to this day. But what's cool is that it's a very distinct, very nerdy type of game. You didn't think that a game like this would hit such mainstream success, and yet it did. I think part of it is also the fact that they have ported this to so many different consoles. The Witcher 3 at this point, the availability of it is easy. You can get it anywhere. So any player can get access to it, try it out if they want. Even Nintendo Switch of all places. The game runs surprisingly well there. But it helps that CD Projekt Red had that capital to invest in putting this game everywhere, getting it into as many hands as possible. Not to mention the fact that I think the popularity of Cyberpunk 2077, the follow-up to The Witcher 3, not only the popularity of it, but also just how much it was in the news cycle with how it unfortunately had a pretty bad launch. I think that led more people to look into The Witcher 3, and that kind of had a splash damage effect with more people jumping into this game. It also helps that it was based on a popular book series, so people were going to jump onto it who had read that, and also the fact that it eventually became a Netflix show had to have helped sales somewhat. Plenty of people could have stumbled upon The Witcher on Netflix and thought Henry Cavill was really cool and found out it was a video game and jumped in from there. Really what I'm trying to get at here is that there's just a bunch of little smaller reasons that add up to why The Witcher 3 was such a massive success. And this is only from the outside looking in. I am just an armchair guy. I'm not like an expert analyst or anything, but that's what I see. Next, over at number 9, we have Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, we're cheating with this one a little bit. It hasn't quite crossed the 50 million sales mark yet, but it's pretty damn close, and it will probably cross it at some point, maybe by the end of the year, maybe next year. But as of right now, according to Nintendo, as of June 30th, 2024, Animal Crossing New Horizons is sitting at about 46 million copies sold. So it is certainly on its way. And this is definitely one maybe some of you didn't really expect, but Animal Crossing is a huge deal. It's been a big deal for a long time. From Japan to the rest of the world, people have really been falling in love with these games. Since the original on GameCube, which was a success, things have really kind of only ballooned since then. And I think the perfect storm, maybe an unfortunate perfect storm, for Animal Crossing New Horizons was the fact that it launched right as the COVID-19 pandemic started. Nobody knew what was really going on. A lot of people were out of work or stuck in their homes and had no choice but to live their fun little life in the world of Animal Crossing. So at that point, especially someone who is just online looking at stuff all the time, it did seem like Animal Crossing New Horizons kind of crossed a cultural touchstone point. Like it kind of broke into the mainstream. You saw it on social media. You saw people playing it. You saw celebrities playing it and talking about it. And I think that helped it blow up. Not to mention, as a cultural point, like people were playing it on Twitch. There was like a talk show version of it on Twitch. People really just down to hang out in the world of Animal Crossing. And it helped that, you know, the Nintendo Switch had sold a million bajillion units. So many people had that console, and it felt like almost every person that had that console felt obligated to try out New Horizons. And it clearly worked. And I think what's cool is that it shows that not every game needs guns or mission objectives or crazy action going on. Some games can just be about, you know, living on a little island, going fishing, building your house. Some people just want that simple, charming escapism. And in this case, a lot of people did. Next, over at number 8, we have Terraria, the 2011 now classic. The number we found was that it has sold 58.7 million units. Of course, it's been sitting at overwhelmingly positive on Steam for many, many years now. And this is a tricky one to pin down, just why it was so successful. Other than that, it's just good. It's charming, but also it's addictive and compelling. A lot of people liken it to kind of like a Minecraft style game where you feel like you can just endlessly explore, build, dig, do whatever you want. I think that's a huge part of it. It seems like it just has like an international appeal. And I also think that this game releasing around the time that people were starting to watch more videos on YouTube specifically about video games may have helped. Early Let's Plays of Terraria and stuff like that are absolutely massive. And I'm talking old YouTube, but even if you look up the game to this day, you see so many videos right in the title claiming it is the best game ever made or a masterpiece. Quote unquote, the perfect video game. So I think it really is just the fact that it is just such raw, good fun factor. Not to mention the fact that it's just had a long life. This game has just kept on going. People continue to be interested in it. It continues to grow, the communities grow, so of course over time it's going to continue to sell. And a game that's been out this long, it's gonna rack up a lot of sales, and it certainly did. Next, over at number 7, we have The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. This one, you knew it was coming. Skyrim was a massive hit. Skyrim was incredibly mainstream. People jumped into Skyrim and played Skyrim and loved Skyrim without even really knowing anything about the Elder Scrolls or any surrounding lore or the history of Bethesda. Nothing. The game just ended up having that much widespread appeal. Probably from a few things. Number one, it just being really good. Although I'm getting up in gamer years and personally I tend to prefer Oblivion or Morrowind, but still a good game. Also, with a good game comes word of mouth and stuff like that, but also probably some really good marketing. At this point, Bethesda, you know, like as the publishing organization, was pretty heavyweight. They had a lot of stuff behind them, so between marketing, the game actually being good, the glowing reviews, this game was able to pretty much immediately be a success. But like some of the other games on this list, it's the longevity of it. The fact that this game just would refuse to die and continue to trudge on for years and years is what helped skyrocket it to about 60 million sales. The joke, of course, remember the meme how like you could put Skyrim on your fridge at this point? Like Skyrim is on every platform. So like other games like The Witcher, the more available it is, the more people are going to buy it, the more people are going to check it out. And with Skyrim being so damn good, it also made sense that a lot of people double dipped. Some people had it for PlayStation 3, God help you if you did, that game had some issues, but eventually it was ported to PS4 and people bought a brand new PS4 version. They put it on Switch. Some people maybe wanted to try Skyrim on the go, so they went for that. I personally know some people that played Skyrim and had a lot of fun on like Xbox 360 or PS3, and then eventually years later, they got a gaming PC, so they bought it again, so they could mod it and mess around with it. So chances are a lot of people that bought Skyrim bought it more than once, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's probably the truth here. Next, over at number 6, we have Red Dead Redemption 2, which sold a whopping 64 million copies, it seems. And this one, the reason, the explanation, is pretty easy if you ask me. It's a simple phrase. From the makers of Grand Theft Auto. Boom, that's it. That's all you need. That's a wrap. That's the end of this point. But no, seriously, the success that comes with Rockstar Games is no slouch at this point, and they put a huge amount of marketing weight behind their games. And Red Dead Redemption 2 was no different. Times Square billboards, incredibly flashy, actually well done TV commercials. This game was everywhere, not to mention just the hype from fans of other Rockstar games or just Red Dead Redemption in general. This thing was a massive success out of the gate, but Rockstar games always tend to have a longer tail, and more people continue to buy this one up. I mean, hell, this one doesn't even have like an official next-gen version of it for PS5 or Xbox Series X, and that didn't slow it down. Of course, it got a PC version that did very, very well, and I just really like this. I think a game like this succeeding to this level, a game specifically tied around telling a really unique, compelling story, a rich story, a story you don't see in other games, let alone movies or television. That's just a huge, huge win for video games. If you're ever feeling down about the video game industry, just remind yourself, a couple of years ago, a very special game, a weird, unique game like Red Dead Redemption 2 sold so many copies, an eye-watering amount. Next, over at number 5, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This has crossed 71 million copies. This is specifically, to me, the game that every person gets for their Nintendo Switch. Of course, it was bundled in, but it just seemed like out of obligation, everybody got this game. Mario Kart is good. It's great. It's solid. I have nothing bad to say about Mario Kart, mark my words, but it's also a game for everybody. A hardcore nerd will buy it and play it just as much as a mom will buy it for their son or daughter for Christmas or whatever. So it has that true massive universal appeal. And then of course it has the install base of all these Nintendo Switch owners of all shapes, ages, and sizes. This is me just spitballing, but I wouldn't be surprised if like some people went over to some people's house to play it and got their ass kicked, so then they went home and bought Mario Kart for themselves so they could practice and get better at the game. I don't know, but it's funny to think about. Either way, the Mario Kart games have been massive successes, but Mario Kart 8 is on a whole nother level. I don't know how they're gonna top this one at this point. I know they've done a really good job keeping this one alive and keeping the sales tail long with adding more tracks, more racers and stuff like that, but a Mario Kart 9 is something I can't even imagine. But when it is announced, it's probably gonna be big. Next, over at number 4, we have PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG. Believe it or not, now at this point, you think of the live service hellscape landscape, you think of things like Fortnite. Fortnite's not on this list because it's free to play. PUBG was the thing you had to buy, and it went viral and blew up, and people were hooked on it. In the old days, man, this game was incredibly fun, simple, effective, and you could just play for hours and hours. It was simple, it wasn't super complicated, and it was an absolute blast. Since then, though, things have really snowballed. Multiple versions of the game on mobile, on different consoles, and I think part of the reason this one sold so much is that it also took hold very deeply throughout the world. In Asia specifically, PUBG is absolutely massive, leading it to selling an absolutely gigantic 75 million units. Now coming down at number 3, we have Wii Sports, another example of the very hard to explain Nintendo effect. It just felt like everybody that had a Wii had this game. And for various reasons. I think it was advertised, it was like one of the big selling points for Wii. It had a massive appeal to both casual audiences, grandma, your mom, your dad, but also just regular gamers because it was just a well-made, fun game. The early days of the Nintendo Wii, there was kind of like this associative identity with it. Like when mainstream audiences thought of the Nintendo Wii, they thought of Wii Bowling, Wii Sports stuff. A lot of the times too, when it was talked about on the news or like on financial TV shows talking about Nintendo and their new console and the success, they would show footage of people playing Wii Sports, just kind of giving the game even more free advertising. What's this weird game you play with a magic wand? You can hit a baseball, you could play tennis, cool. The appeal was there. It was simple, it was effective, and it was fun, and it went on to sell 83 million units. Sometimes the simplest games are the best and the most successful, and this is a really good example of that. Now, down at number 2, we have Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5, I'll just say right, is like 200 million units. It's one of the biggest selling things ever. It's made more money than like some big popular crazy Hollywood movie franchises. Grand Theft Auto 5 is its own beast, partially because of the hype behind it. So many people had been in love with all the previous Grand Theft Auto games, which were also massive smash hits, but they all snowballed into this new one. And this is still the newest one. Grand Theft Auto 6 is not out anytime soon, and Grand Theft Auto 5 has lived on for like a decade, like more. Like, it's been on everything. This game started on Xbox 360. You might now be playing it on your PlayStation 5. This is crazy. It's another one where they kept putting it out, they kept re-releasing it, and people just kept buying it. Partially for, yes, the compelling open world. You can explore, do whatever you want, do freedom, do crime, like any good Grand Theft Auto game, but also Grand Theft Auto Online. Grand Theft Auto Online is a juggernaut that we can't even explain. It has made Rockstar Games presumably so much money, hand over fist. So many people are hooked on that, and that definitely led to some of those numbers getting pumped up. The big question is, will Grand Theft Auto 6 ever top this? It's gonna take a long time because Grand Theft Auto 5 has had a long life and a lot of re-releases, so we won't know for sure right away, but either way, the future is probably gonna be big. Now down at number 1, we have Minecraft. Minecraft has crossed 300 million units from what we see, and that is bananas. Minecraft is a massive success. They're making a movie about it, there's been shows, there's been all kinds of spin-offs and toys and crazy things. Minecraft has massive universal appeal. In my college days, I played this as a sweaty weirdo on a laptop. It was like in alpha, it was a mess, but it felt like this cool, fun, unique thing just cobbled together by a bunch of creative coders. I was addicted. I would play during the day, the sun would set, and then the sun would rise, and I'd look out my window and go, oh crap, I just played this for way too long. Minecraft is dangerous like that, but it's also taken hold of general audiences. People who barely play computer games love to fire up Minecraft and build stuff. Kids love living in these worlds. Of course, this was another game that came up with the popularity of YouTube videos about video games, leading to more people watching the game, learning about the game, thinking about the game, probably buying the game, with it eventually, of course, being purchased by Microsoft and blown up into an even bigger thing, put on more platforms, franchised out even more. They really got the Minecraft money machine printing. But this begs the question, if Minecraft is so good, why isn't there a Minecraft 2? I'm kidding. But seriously, Minecraft, the sense of community behind it, people living in these worlds, people creating in these worlds, or just regular old simple gaming in these worlds, led to it just being one of the biggest things ever. Whether it's on your phone, your console, your PC, your VR headset, I don't know, Minecraft is everywhere and people are still continuing to buy it. Will they buy tickets to that weird new Minecraft movie though? Who knows? But those are 10 games that sold over 50 million units, and some of the reasons why, or at least our speculation. There are tons of other games that have sold tens of millions of units that we didn't have time to talk about today, so let us know in the comments some other big successes. Let us know why you think some of these games are successes. Let's just talk about this stuff. Now, if you like this video and you like talking games with us, clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It really helps us out. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But either way, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.